Welcome back to the No Huddle podcast. This is episode 3. And the plan originally was not to record an episode. I got to move to college tomorrow. But let's just say a certain game of the year happened. So we have to get on the pod and we got to start recording. Unbelievable first Sunday of NFL games. Let me just get started with that. Woke up 4 hours early because I was so excited for the games. And, we sit down on the couch and it was phenomenal. Game after game, good game after good game after good game. Love to see it. And, it's just, we hadn't had a NFL Sunday in like 200 days. So it's so good to be back. It was so good to be back. But without further delay, let's get started with what is probably going to end up being game of the year in week 1. Week 1, Sunday Night Football, we got game of the year. Ravens-Bills. So everyone, of course, knew this as the best game of the week. Right, NBC we put it on Sunday night for the first week, and it's like, okay, let's see what they got. And the game starts. Lamar Jackson's doing his thing. No plans for Derrick Henry. At one point, he has 14 carries, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns. There's nothing they can do. Zay Flowers has 140 yards, and it's like, okay, the Ravens are saying this is what we would have done if we stuck to our plan, if we ran the ball like we were supposed to, if we had Zay Flowers healthy, this is what would have happened last year. And I was like, okay, Ravens are standing on business. I like it. But there's always one thing. Always one problem. Ravens gonna Raven. I saw a tweet, and it is just so accurate. The Ravens always find a way to lose. They always find a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. And what do you know? They do it again. This time in Falcon style, which is rare for them. They usually like to get penalties. They like to have dumb turnovers. But no, they do a Falcon style. They blow a giant lead. 5 minutes left in the game. 40-25. The Ravens are up. And what do you know? They blow the game. Now, before I get into that, Lamar in this game was unbelievable. It sucks for him. This is probably the first time where the Ravens completely fell apart, and it was not his fault at all. Every single play Lamar was making, you were just sitting there with my jaw was just fully aghast. But that he had an unbelievable throw to DeAndre Hopkins. He had the stupid play on 3rd and 10 where he ran back 15 yards, evaded 2 defenders, then charged forward and gained 30 yards just by scrambling. Unbelievable. And Josh Allen this game, he was fine for a while. And then, what do you know? They gave him life. They gave Josh Allen life. Why would you do that? Because what does he do? He freaking delivered. 40-25. Marches down the field, puts in an easy score. There was a little bit of resistance, but not much at all. Hot knife through butter. So we get to 40-32. Ravens are up. And what do you know? Mr. Derrick Henry, 180 yards at that point, 2 touchdowns, single-handedly saved my fantasy team from the brink today. I was down 30, but Derrick Henry exists. Derrick Henry takes a handoff and fumbles. He's doing too much. I remember I was yelling at my TV. I'm like, Derek, get down, get down. The goal of this play was not to get a first down. The goal of the play was to burn clock. And what do you know? You turn the ball over. Now, the Ravens have had a problem with turnovers and fumbling when it comes to Lamar. And Derrick Henry's had a little bit of a problem with flash. If there's one knock on Derrick Henry's game, is that he sometimes likes to turn the ball over. And he likes to fumble. Also, he doesn't have the greatest hands. But that's besides the point. And what do you know? He fumbles. It was, first of all, unbelievable play by Ed Oliver to punch that ball out. But he fumbles the ball. Bills get it back, and it's like, yeah, the Bills are scoring. The real question is whether they're going to get the 2. So they line for that 2-point conversion. And the Bills call a goal line fade. I love Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman's a great receiver. I think he's going to end up being easy, clear-cut number 1 receiver for the Bills. But you throw a goal line fade with Josh Allen in your backfield? Really? You're telling me a bootleg where you can get Josh Allen out and running isn't the right option. It's the one play where you give the least amount of control to Josh Allen. But what do you know? Play goes incomplete. And it's 40-38. Ravens get the ball back, hit a few completions, or hit it in incompletion, try to run, doesn't work. And it's 4th and 3. And what do the Ravens do? They punt the ball. The Ravens, who have a 2-point lead, punt the ball to Josh Allen. Now, I understand. It's like, oh, well, if you don't convert, the Bills are guaranteed a field goal. And at that point, you're kind of GG, you're boomed. But what is the thought process? And, well, you're not boomed if you give the ball back to Josh Allen, who we had allowed 38 points to, that you can't stop, you had no success on since the third quarter. And you're like, yeah, let's give that guy the ball back. And what do you know? Josh Allen does what one of the great quarterbacks do, or the great quarterbacks do. Easily drives their team down the field. That throw to Josh Palmer was nutty. I remember Josh Palmer from the Chargers. He was everyone's desperation wide receiver 5. Come week 14 of fantasy, and you're pleading with him to get you 8 points, but he drops the ball 4 times from Herbert. Well, that Josh Allen puts a freaking beauty on his hands. And he easily catches that, gets out of bounds. He's getting hyped. I didn't even know, probably Bills fans didn't even know Josh Palmer was on their team. But what do you know? He gets out, and the Bills, they do what they're going to do. They drive down the field, get down to like the freaking 8-yard line, and it was an easy chip shot kick for Matt Prater. And that's it. And, you could talk about the long-term implications of the game, the importance of the tiebreaker, how these two teams are probably going to be fighting for the 1 and 2 seeds, respectively to Kansas City, of course. And, how important that is. And now that the Bills have that tiebreaker, and now the Ravens are screwed again, and that they don't have their home field advantage. But, man, for the Ravens, it's week 1 and you got your heart crushed again? This is just last year. It's last year, all over again. It's Isaiah Likely's foot was out of bounds against Kansas City. Again. Except this is worse. This is way worse. And now, what do? I feel like if you're the Ravens, you can't just go like, we'll get them next Sunday. Next Sunday? Let me just check the Ravens schedule. Who do you have next Sunday? You have the Browns. You're telling me you're going to go off of a heartbreaking, almost playoff-like defeat. And just go, oh, yeah, we're going to go to the Browns, and then we're going to go to the Lions, and then we're going to go to the Chiefs, and we're going to play Texans. And we're just going to fully recover and be fine. No. Do you remember last year, the Ravens, coming off a heartbreaking loss, got smacked by the Raiders the next week, and Max Crosby, and it's like, what? And remember, this wasn't like, the Raiders that we know now with like Geno Smith and Pete Carroll. This was Gardner Minshew. I think it might have been the one win Minshew had as a Raider, was beating the Ravens. And now you get to go to Cleveland, who just randomly probably should have been Cincinnati week 1, and you get a division rival, AFC North game. This game was, division games more important than, the Bills game, even though it doesn't feel like it. And you got to make sure you don't get into a trap game with the Browns. But it's demoralizing. Because what's stopping the Ravens from doing this, come January? Nothing. And we know the inevitable truth that they probably will. And that nothing has changed. The Ravens have been the best team on paper in football for the last 3 years. They have been my pick to go to the Super Bowl 2 separate back-to-back years. I thought the Ravens were making it in 23. I thought the Ravens were making it in 24. And in 24, or last year, I was dead convinced. I thought the Ravens were the best team in the AFC. I thought they were the best team in the entire league. I thought the Ravens were going to go beat every team by 2 scores. That's how good they were last year once midseason came. And what do you know? They Raven again. And as a neutral fan, I love the Ravens. I love the Bills. They're both great teams. I never want the Niners to play them. I found myself, of course, amazed by a comeback. But I was just like, again, I was disappointed. And it wasn't even my own team. Because it just felt like, oh, well, what else is new? I know I can't count on this team. And as a Niners fan whose one goal is to see the Chiefs not make the Super Bowl this year, I know I can't count on the Ravens to do that for me. Okay, that's enough doom and gloom. Enough doom and gloom when we're talking about game of the year. Because my Josh Allen. Dude, I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh. I mean, what a game. You want to talk about week 1, going out there, putting a stamp, saying, we're a little different this year. How about coming back, down 40-25? Your own fans are leaving the stadium, and you're coming back. I love that. I love that so much. I'm sorry for just smiling and being giddy about it, but my God, I love that so much. He comes out there. Receivers, best receivers, Khalil Shakir. Just dicing up the Ravens defense. Oh, no, any ordinary Ravens defense with Marlon Humphrey, first team All-Pro. Kyle Hamilton, first team All-Pro. Roquan Smith, second team All Pro. Teddy Buchanan, amazing. By the way, probably had like the best game out of any of the Ravens defenders outside of, the god that is Kyle Hamilton. Teddy Buchanan, Justin Madubuike. I'll just dice him up. Any other game. Yeah, I got me and my team of JV lacrosse players. And we're going to go dice up the Ravens for 41 points. This guy, man. Like, this guy. It's unbelievable what he does on a week-to-week basis. And then he gets discredited, because he loses to Patrick Mahomes a couple times. So what? I think he's right now, I know Mahomes just played an unbelievable game. Right now, he's the best quarterback in football, Josh Allen. Because, I don't know, there is no counter to stopping Josh Allen. The plan to stop Josh Allen is thoughts and prayers right now, genuinely. Josh Allen can attack you from the deep outside. Josh Allen can attack you short. He can attack you medium. And of course, he has the best freaking arm in football. He's going to chuck that thing 80 yards. Easy. There is no game plan to stop Josh Allen. And the Ravens showed it today because out of any team in football, the team that has the defensive personnel to stop the Bills is the Ravens. And they can't do it. And I know probably Ravens fans are just saying, like, Jair Alexander played a bad game. Maybe it was just off night. It's week 1. But they have the guys to do it. In theory, the Ravens should just be able to go in man coverage, lock up the receivers, and that should be it. But no, doesn't matter. Zach Orr is a good DC. Like, you see that Ravens defense after week 8 last year? They're a good unit. And they're the unit that's probably only gotten better. And Josh freaking Allen just dices them up over and over and over and over again. Sometimes it's easy plays. Khalil Shakir pops up over in the middle. You got a little nice comeback route to Keon Coleman. And other times it's Josh Allen running the other way, running to his left on a 3rd and 8. Gotta have it. And it's just finding his guy on the left sideline, looking like Aaron Rodgers, looking like prime Aaron Rodgers. Every play. My God. It's so much fun. It is so much fun to watch the Buffalo Bills. I have a friend who's a Bills fan. And I texted him, I'm just like, you will never understand the privilege you have of being able to watch that guy for the next 15 years. And he's like, I know, man. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. That guy is so good that it convinced the Niners to go trade 3 first-round picks for Trey Lance. Like, he's so good. He's so good. Overall, these are two. This is just an amazing matchup. Love to see it again come January. I'd love to find out how the Ravens, with the better team, are going to fuck it up again. Sorry. Are going to mess it up again. I think I could leave that in. Sorry for the bad language there. You can tell I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated when it comes to the Ravens. Just see how they're going to mess it up again come January against this Bills team. And for the Bills, they really might be different this year. I know it's like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, this would now be 5 times? 5 times. Fool me 5 times. But I don't know. I feel like after being on the other end of so many game of the years, after being on the other end of the 2021 division round, after being on the other end of the 2024 AFC Championship game, after being on the other end of the divisional round in Buffalo, where Tyler Bass just hooks the kick right, this team finally ended up winning a game of the year. Oh, sorry. I almost forgot. Losing 48-46 to the Rams last year. They're finally winning a game of the year. Lost to the Vikings, too. Wow, this team has lost so many game of the years. It's just they're on the right side of history for once. And this is a game that should and will go down in history. They're on the right side of it. They're different. I have a feeling. I have a good feeling. That's my week 1 overreaction, is that the Bills are different this year, and they're winning the AFC. Of course, barring injuries. We'll see. I think I have said more than enough about my piece about it, because if I keep talking about Ravens-Bills, I'm just going to keep freaking smiling, because, one last thing. Nasty, nasty run plays in the first half by the Baltimore Ravens. My goodness, I love to watch it. As a giant football nerd who loves to watch the offensive line, the stuff they were cooking up for Derrick Henry. On the first play last year, Derrick Henry runs for 87 yards and a touchdown. On the very first play, week 4. And they run that exact same concept, exact same scheme, and he gets another 25-yard gain just because it's so unstoppable. I think they call it a crack concept inside. So nutty. They can always just keep running that. Ravens kind of got away from who they were this game. It was a little weird. Like, Derrick Henry running inside worked, and he got 15 carries. And I know it's because they kept moving the ball down the field, but I feel like at some point I was literally just saying they're just like, hand the ball to Derrick Henry every play. Why not? Who's stopping you? Don't give it to Justice Hill. And Justice Hill is a fine running back, but today Derrick Henry was on something. All right. Okay. I know I was going to move on. I didn't even move on. But my God, I just love talking about that game. Moving on. You can see the jersey I'm wearing. It's a 97 jersey. It's a Nick Bosa jersey. And my guy, Nick Bosa. Niners win 17-13. There was an instant reaction up on the Tiki Talks on the Instagram, on YouTube, where we just, or where I was freaking out about this game. Niners win 17-13. Brock Purdy, 277 yards. Hard word to say. 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Sam Darnold, 150 yards. No touchdowns, no picks. Just perfectly fine. Perfectly average. CMC, like 140 scrimmage yards. Ricky Pierce all over 100. And this game, I don't know what to say. Let me first get the Jake Moody piece of it done with, so then I can ignore it. I don't have to talk about it. Jake Moody missed a 27-yard field goal in this game. He doinked it, which I will never understand doinking. It is literally harder to hit the upright than to go down the middle, especially from 27 yards out. Like, I have held a ball for my soccer player friends, and they have drilled 27-yarders. No questions asked. They can do that. They can do that shit with their eyes closed. But you send Jake Moody to go out there and hit a 27-yarder. No. It goes horribly. And then he gets blocked on a 36-yard field goal. And then in the post-game interview, Shanahan's like, oh, it was a failure on all units for special teams. And it's like, okay. Shanahan, you're a smart man. It's a 36-yard field goal. There is one person to blame when a 36-yard field goal gets blocked, and that is the kicker. Because if you guys don't know, and you don't, know special teams kicking mechanics, because why would you? If a ball is getting blocked from a kick that is not 50 yards or more, it is 100% the kicker's fault because he kicked it too low. That ball needs to be kicked from the start high, so it goes over the lineman and he clears. Because if you watch back that replay, which I did a million times like a sicko, because I enjoy pain when it comes to the Niners, like that kick is blocked. It's blocked even if no one gets their hands up. I don't know if it was crossing the line. It did not go high enough. And it was the same thing that cost the Niners in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, because Jake Moody, golden leg and everything, can't kick a ball over linemen. Jake Moody should not be on this team in the next 24 hours. I have a flight to Chicago. If Jake Moody is on my freaking team when I land from my flight in Chicago, I am going to be irate. I'm trying to censor the language. I'm really trying. If Jake Moody has a job in the next 24 hours, or if Jake Moody, maybe contract details are tough. Maybe he has a good cry about it in the locker room. If Jake Moody is kicking for the San Francisco 49ers by week 2, then Jake Moody is having some sort of relationship with someone important on the Niners. It is the only explanation. I don't know why I made that noise with my lips. It is the only explanation. Because, my God, he's awful. I mean, in Michigan, I watched this guy kick in Michigan. Harbaugh was with Michigan that year, so I watched Michigan because, I'm a Niners fan. I love Jim Harbaugh. And I'm like, damn, this guy's got a golden leg. And it's like, God dang. And when we drafted him, I was mad. We got a kicker in the 3rd round. But Jake Moody kicking the ball, I'm like, okay, at least he's solid. Whatever. We drafted Justin Tucker. And the only thing he's done... Oh, I can't make that joke. But... sorry. Jake Moody, shanks 2 kicks. So bad that Shanahan curses out twice. And goes for it on 4th down multiple times in places that he never would have because he's extremely conservative. More conservative than Tucker Carlson when it comes to kicking a field goal. Loves his 4th and 1, 4th and inches field goals. And it's like, what are we doing? Greg Joseph is out there in free agency. He needs to be our kicker tomorrow. And if it's not Greg Joseph, it can be anyone else. I really don't care. I would have liked it to be Nick Folk, but we are out on him by a couple weeks. I would have liked it to be... What's that kicker's name? Matthew Wright. I would have liked Matthew Wright, but we were out on him a few months ago. I would have loved Matt Prater, but he's a little busy hitting game winners for Buffalo and 52-yard field goals in Buffalo in the wind. But no, we have Jake Moody. And so, you know what? Greg Joseph, who hits 70% of his kicks and is an objectively pretty bad kicker, should be the kicker for the Niners next week. And if he is not, oh my God, I don't even know. I feel like every Niners fan would just be done. It'd be like, okay, well, I think we're punting on the year. or we're trying to it's an anime and we're giving our characters extra plot adversity because we have to for the story because we feel bad for the Saints. If that's not it, then there's no other explanation. Okay. I got through the Jake Moody part without cursing. Now that we are done with the Jake Moody part, let's head to the fun part of this game, which is the Niners winning. So all game, Niners control time and possession. Super hard. It was one point, it was like 35 minutes to 15 minutes. Niners were up in time and possession. Niners couldn't really run the ball, but they ran the ball well enough to where they could move the chains, which is all that matters in football. You were getting solid-ish runs. They were getting good, solid quarterback play out of Brock Purdy. And then whenever their kicker didn't mess it up, which we got that done with, Brock Purdy had some uncharacteristic interceptions. First one, I'm going to give full credit to the linebacker, Ernest Jones, demon. Loved him on the Rams. So happy when they traded him to the Titans, and then very unhappy when the Titans traded him back in the division. Ernest Jones does a deep zone drop on that interception. I don't know if you know which one I'm talking about. Juwan Jennings runs a deep sort of hook route in the middle of the field. Anyways, it's a route that Purdy's hit a million times, especially even with Jennings. Christian McCaffrey falls on his little short route. Ernest Jones is able to play back by another 10 yards and just jumps right in the lane. And for a linebacker, makes one hell of an athletic play. Full credit to Ernest Jones. Rough that McCaffrey trips. What are you going to do about it? Purdy's a big anticipation guy. There's not much you can do. And then the second one, Brock Purdy just fully lets loose a stinker. No way around it. So many of Brock Purdy's interceptions have a logical explanation. It's that like I explained earlier before with the backer dropping, or this receiver slipped, or he didn't have his guy hit on the right time. This time Brock Purdy was just hit a why not, F it. Ricky Pearsall down there somewhere. Except he was down there, but there was 4 other guys. And it's leaped, easy, intercepted. Not much you're going to do. But Brock Purdy makes up for it, which is something that didn't happen a lot last year. It's like Brock Purdy would make the huge mistake, but then it was at the end of the game, or at that point it was too late. But thankfully, we got Bob Saleh. And Robert Saleh called an unbelievable game. They had Sam Darnold seeing ghosts again. All Sam could do, Sam and Clint Kubiak could trust him to do was just check the ball down, or just chuck it to Jason. Jason, so good, by the way, unbelievable player. But Seattle couldn't run the ball. They couldn't throw the ball. All they had was every once in a while Jason would get open on third down, and that was their entire offensive game plan, which is why they scored 13 points in a National Football League game. So they couldn't move the ball. But the problem is the Niners loved giving the ball to Seattle this game. So we were pretty much at an impasse for a while. And then, Brock throws an interception. Seattle takes a 10-13 lead. And Brock Purdy, game-winning drive, everything on the line. Same situation as last year when the Niners were playing Detroit. Same situation as last year when the Niners were playing the Rams to get in the playoffs. Same situation last year when playing the Cardinals in Week 4. Same situation as the Niners playing the Rams in Week 3, yada, yada, yada. This time, Brock Purdy, double move with Ricky Pearsall, pump fake, chucks an absolute freaking beauty. 45 yards down the field. Ricky catches that in stride. Couldn't have been placed in his hands any better. And gets popped out of bounds. And then from there, 3rd and 3, inside the red zone. Niners horrendous red zone offense. Whatever, it was clear that the game plan for the red zone was get the ball to George Kittle, and pray to God it works, because it's George Kittle in the red zone. It works. But without George Kittle, there was no game plan in the red zone. So couldn't move the ball in the red zone all day. Again, we got stalled, which is why Jake Moody missed 2 kicks. Brock Purdy rolls out, pressure in his face. There'd been pressure all day. He gets out, rolls, and then you know what? He just hits a chuck it, see what happens. And that chuck had just a little bit of touch on it. And that chuck gets over one defender, and then he's got a one-on-one with Jake Tonjes, who is a third-string tight end, backup fullback, on, a supposedly very good cover corner. I'd heard this from Seattle all week. I've had to hear about Tariq Woolen in Madden. He got like 95 speed. He's 6'4", 80-inch wingspan. Built like Megatron, but as a corner. What does Tariq Woolen do? Get mossed by Jake Tonjes. Gets the ball taken out of his hands. Not even mossed, because he didn't have to jump over him. He just took the ball from him. He tracked it better. And if you're getting out-tracked by Jake Tonjes, I don't know. Maybe not a very good cover corner. Just saying. Just saying. But Jake Tonjes catches that. Seattle gets the ball back. 2 minutes left, right around there. And Sam Darnold, gets the team down the field. And I'm like, oh shit. Okay, this is a new Sam. I didn't know Sam had this in him. I respect it. I didn't know you had this in your game, sir. Beautiful throw to JSN. Like, I was watching it. I'm like, dang, Sam Darnold put that ball right in his hands. Fourth quarter. Last year, he was shriveling up against the Vikings, shriveling up against the Rams. And this time, huge game. First game in Seattle. Division rival. Probably the biggest division rival for Seattle. And he dropped it in his hands. And, it's 2nd and 4. And what do you know? Nick Bosa, the guy whose jersey I'm wearing. My Pookie Bear. Shouldn't make that joke. He strip sacks Sam Darnold. And not in the ordinary way. Not in the normal, I'm just going to hit the ball out of your hand way. He takes Abe Lucas, right tackle, freshly extended, 3-year, $45 million, and shoves him. Shoves Abe Lucas into Sam Darnold. Easy fumble. And then he picks it up himself, because why not? Because he's already there. And at this point, it's too much work for Nicky Bosa to just not let the ball go or not pick it up. He might as well just pick it up. And I'm freaking out. Pops is freaking out. We're all freaking out. It's a beautiful time. And we win the game. And I'm going to touch on that play for a sec. I'm going to do a little edit later with the play and the short. Micah Williams and Sam Okwonu were taking up 3 people on the inside of that, which leaves Nick Bosa one-on-one. Why? Because Sam Okwonu is running a stunt, which then leaves the Seattle offensive line surprised as all hell. And Michael Williams is taking up a double team. Rookie Michael Williams, who I don't even know if he recorded a stat today, was taking up a double team. I'm like, okay, Michael. Okay. Because what does that mean? Finally, for probably the first time in a year, Nick Bosa has a free to work with one-on-one, and he takes it. He takes Abe Lucas's lunch money, puts him back. He's like, I don't care about your 3 years, $45 million. I make that in a year and change. Shoves him back into Sam Darnold. And I mean, if you're a Seahawks fan, that's got to hurt. Respectfully, I went through on YouTube after the game, and I searched for Seahawks fan live reaction to the 49ers game. And I stumbled across a Norbcam reaction video. It's like, Norbcam, by the way, awesome YouTuber, even though he's a Seahawks fan. And I'm just watching him, and he almost seemed like, of course he was disappointed, but then he was, you kind of see on his face, like, oh, it's Nicky Bosa. What else are you going to do? My God, the ability to see Nick Bosa when he has help on the defensive line, it's a beautiful thing. I haven't seen it in 5 years. Since 2019, Nick Bosa has been out there solo manning every single offensive line and trying to do it all himself while he gets held. Everything. And to see Nick Bosa get a little bit of help and reward the Niners right away. And it's like, man, I forgot why I fell in love with you, man. And then you reminded me. You reminded me, Nicky Bosa. Gets that impact play after impact play. Shuts down the run. Doesn't overplay the run, or doesn't overplay when the quarterback is running out of the pocket, like he did so many times, like he did in the Super Bowl. And he's holding contain. He plays a beautiful game. The other players I want to shout out for this game, Diamador Lenore, anytime he was on JSN was silenced. I didn't have to see number 11 dominate my screen. Anytime JSN was on literally anybody else, yeah, he cooked them. Upton Stout, the rookie, had a few welcome to the NFL moments. Got kind of dominated, got rolled, especially for the majority of that game. Bernardo struggled, had a few really high highs, a few really low lows on JSN too. Cooper Kupp did not play well. He had 1 reception for 9 yards. Other times he got open, but then he dropped the ball. So Cooper Kupp, who I actually like, I'm a big Cooper Kupp guy. I love Cooper Kupp. I think he's a demon route runner, and clearly he still is a demon route runner. It's just he doesn't know how to catch the ball. So we'll see. And other guys I really wanted to shout out. Ricky Pearsall. Dude, when the Niners are driving the ball down there, it was literally just another dumb joke, I'm sorry. It was just the spicy whites. It was Brock Purdy, it was Ricky Pearsall, it was Christian McCaffrey, and it was a dream. And that's how we were pushing the ball down the field. I love that football's back. That was the only way we could move the ball down the field, was just through those 3. And Ricky, my God, stepped up. All preseason, I'd been hyping up Ricky to all the boys, to my dad. I'm like, watch for Ricky. goes off in that Raiders preseason game. I've been hearing through camp. I've been hearing everything. And my God, that dub move was so clean. It was so clean. Man, Ricky, he has surpassed every one of my expectations that I had from when we drafted him 31st. When we drafted him, I'm like, first reaction was, who the hell was he? But then I looked into him, like, okay, we'll see what he can do. And with no Jawan Jennings because of injury, no George Kittle because of injury, he steps up as the number one receiver. He and, Jake Tonjes. Other big news from the game was injuries. So Seattle had an injury to Nick Imwanwarrior. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I think I nailed it, though. He's a really, really good player, really talented player. And you could tell Seattle's whole gameplay was a little bit shifted. Not too sure if he returned, but he definitely didn't look the same. So, a little bit of something to keep an eye on. George Kittle, this is a big one. Hamstring strain, just happens randomly. We hear that he's in the blue medical tent. I hit a refresh on Twitter. I see he's on the blue medical tent. And it turns out he's got a hamstring strain. So we'll see. Either he's out for a couple weeks, or he's out for more, or we're really boomed. He's out for the season. We'll see. If I were to guess, he was chilling on the sideline. He wasn't in no crutches, nothing. I think he'll be out a couple weeks, which we can kind of afford. Like, as long as he's back before week 5 for the Rams, we're fine. So that's a big one to keep an eye on. Trent and Fred Warner, sorry, not anyone else. They also had injury scares this game, but thankfully that seemed to be fine. Like, they went back in. I think Fred Warner literally just like broke his nose or something. I don't know. Which I guess, if you're Fred Warner, just thug it out. You're fine. And because, it's Fred Warner. On the defensive side of the ball, D. Winters. Giant, huge, awesome game. He took over for Dre Greenlaw last year, if you don't know. Dre Greenlaw, now a Bronco, who missed this game today. Hopefully he comes back healthy. Really, really fun player to watch. And he comes out there and he's flying. He genuinely looked like Dre Greenlaw 2.0. It's like, oh, okay, we took the Dre Greenlaw out of this guy, we put in that guy. And I'm watching watching D. Winters, and I'm like, dang, we're just a linebacker factory. Same way Seattle produces good corners, like Devon Witherspoon. Same way is the way we produce linebackers, and the way Packers produce quarterbacks. 3 teams who are just pure factories for a certain position. And he looked so good. Even Tatum Bethune, when he came in a little bit for Fred Warner, he looked good too. So Niners linebackers in phenomenal hands. Overall, did the Niners play extremely sloppy in this game? Yes. Good Lord, yes. Do we need a new kicker? Yes. But it's not anything I'm necessarily overly concerned with. I love seeing Brock get a game-winning drive under his belt, just have a real clutch moment, because I feel like he has this thing where he struggles. He's always trying to be like proving that he deserved his giant contract when the fan base doesn't want him to do that. We just want to win games. And he plays a great game. The defense looks like it's 10 steps ahead of where I wanted it to be at this point in the year, which is phenomenal. Robert Saleh is so good. The upgrade from Nick Sorensen to Robert Saleh is the biggest single upgrade in any coordinator spot, coaching spot. I don't care. I don't care if Ben Johnson's amazing with the Bears. It's still just by far the biggest upgrade. Love that. For Seattle, Sam Darnold, you didn't ask him to do a whole lot this game, but when you did, he did fumble at the end, which sucks. But that Seattle defense is good. It's really, really good. And that's a team, that's a unit that's young. That's a unit with a young head coach running it. And that defense is going to get really good. It's going to get scary good. Seattle's fans were so loud when their defense was out there. You can tell they were more hyped to see the defense than the offense. Offense was a sideshow. They wanted to see that defense fly around. They wanted to see Devon Witherspoon. They wanted to see Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy. My God, unbelievable games out of those two. Especially Leonard Williams. I don't know if we recorded stats necessarily. I don't care. Blew up the run so many times on the interior. Jake Brendel and Ben Barch got destroyed the whole game, but that's kind of nothing new. But by those insane Seattle DTs. And they're going to be a problem for everybody in the division. No one in the division is prepared to handle Seattle's defensive tackles. No one's got a good interior line. And Seattle's going to win a good bit of games because of it. I was low on Seattle. I was like, 8-9 wins. Same old Seattle. Maybe give them another year or two and we'll see. But dude, the Seattle team's good. I hate to say it. I hate the Seahawks so much. But that Seattle team is good. And I think they're the second or third best team in the division. Depends where we or the Rams rank. I need to watch a full Rams game. I'm gonna be fully transparent because I watched this whole game. I was on red zone or anything. I was fully locked in. I was enjoying my first Niners game here, so I just want to enjoy the game. I didn't get a chance to watch much of the Rams game, so I'm not gonna be talking about that. Uh, but once I do get a chance to fully watch that, I'll see. I'll sort of evaluate where we are in the division because right now it clearly looks like you have three playoff teams in the division with us, Seattle, and the Rams. And you have the Cardinals just chilling, doing their own thing. Kyler, big vibing, big midget. Sorry. Just doing his own thing. I think that's mostly of what I wanted to get to this game. Kyle Juszczyk, 2 catches. Love to see it. Other than that, moving on. I'm going to just go to the morning games. They're not going to be super big, in-depth breakdowns like I've had for the Bills game or this game. Because I was on red zone. I'm going to admit, I was on red zone. So I don't want to give a bunch of fake analysis that I can't actually substantiate. So we're going to go to Steelers and the Jets. 34-32. Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields look like, Colin Kaepernick and Aaron Rodgers in 2012. Because when you're on red zone, you only see the highlights. Holy crap, were their highlights impressive. Because Aaron Rodgers looked genuinely like he turned back the clock like 5-7 years. Slanging that thing. And it wasn't even just like DK Metcalf. It's not like DK Metcalf just feasted the whole game. No, it was Calvin Austin, 4 for 70 for a touchdown. Freiermuth didn't actually do a whole lot. Jonnu Smith, the love relationship between Arthur Smith and Jonnu Smith. Beautiful thing, by the way. They need to make a Hallmark movie on that. If the Bills get a Hallmark movie, if the Chiefs get a Hallmark movie, I think Arthur Smith and Jonnu Smith kind of has to get a Hallmark movie. But, my God, he gets 5 catches for 15 yards. Big yikes. He did get a touchdown, though. So, I keep losing my track here. Aaron Rodgers looked so unbelievably good in this game. Justin Fields did too. The Jets realistically should have won this game had it not been for a really annoying special teams fumble. And man, special teams, every time football season starts, or we're in the offseason, everyone ignores special teams moves. No one cares about who your punter is. No one cares who your kick returner is or punt returner. And then the game starts. And it's like, oh, shoot, special teams is important, isn't it? I forgot. Everyone forgets. And guess what? Cost the Jets here. Because the Jets' offense was playing so well. And it sucks because Aaron Glenn brought in one of the main offensive guys from Detroit. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name. But he was a really, really good coach for them. And he called a really, really good game. And they were clicking. Breece Hall looked like Barry Sanders. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. There was a tweet comparing the two. Unbelievable game out of him. Braylon Allen looks great. Braylon Allen looks like a freak. Aaron Rodgers was playing great. Like, it was such a good matchup. And for Pittsburgh Steelers, New York Jets to be that good of a game was unbelievable to me. And it's like, man, maybe this is a special year. This might just be a special year for football. Because every team is really fun to watch right now. So, with the Steelers winning this game, they go to 1-0. Let me check who they have on the schedule. They go 1-0. They have Seattle next, which is very winnable for them. And, maybe this is a playoff team with Aaron Rodgers. And not just, I'm going to go get bounced the wild card. Maybe this is a serious playoff team. Because, we've seen Mahomes beat Allen. We've seen Mahomes beat Lamar. We've seen Mahomes beat Burrow. How about for turn back the clock 10 years, Aaron Rodgers? We'll see about that. That'll be a fun game. And of course, it's week 1. Giant overreactions. Always going to overreact week 1. You kind of have to. But Rodgers looks so good. It's so fun seeing Aaron Rodgers be a good quarterback again. Like, I'm a Rodgers fan. I loved Rodgers. Green Bay was my second favorite team, even as the Niners were playing them in the playoffs like every year. Aaron Rodgers is so fun. It's so good to have good Aaron Rodgers football back. We deserve it as fans to watch Aaron Rodgers be a good quarterback, especially if this is his last ride. And for the Jets, I'm not the biggest Justin Fields guy, but after that game, he might have turned me. I might be a Justin Fields guy. I was a Justin Fields hater for 4 years because of that annoying Chicago fan base that was claiming that he was God and that like his games where he would throw for 20 yards and run for 100 were like signs that he's the next great quarterback. But dude, he looks so good. He had this insane tight window throw, like it was 3rd and long, gotta have it, and he splits 2 defenders with like half the league at least is an interception. But for him, it's a dot right down the middle of the field, showing that arm talent. He was running great. He was running smart, not taking stupid hits. And It's like, this is the Justin Fields we finally have been waiting to see. You know, this is the Fields that everyone wanted or thought that could come out of Ohio State. Loved watching Justin Fields go do his thing. I think these are two teams that are going to be really fun. They both need to clearly figure out some defensive stuff, or they both had unbelievable games, one of the two. But they need to figure out some defensive stuff. But once they do, especially the Steelers have more confidence in because their team is so talented on the defensive side of the ball. Once they do, I think both these teams can be sneaky, annoying teams of like, they're going to win 9, 10 games. And if they sneak into the wild card, you really don't want to play them. I know it's week one. I always got to pace myself because I'm just so happy to have football back. I got to just remember it's week one. We got 16 more weeks or 17 more weeks. So slow down on the playoff stuff, but it's fun to watch. Let's see. Another important game that we need to talk about. Let's see. Which one do I want to talk about? Bucks Falcons. Let's do Bucks Falcons. So this was a game that Michael Penix Jr. had an unbelievable drive to go win them the game. Beautiful game-winning drive. And he's, sells his arm out twice, defies gravity one time, keeps his legs up somehow, and, does all that, and then Bake Show comes. And Baker had a pretty awful game. Baker didn't do anything for the majority of the game, but then someone's like, tapped his shoulder. It's like, hey, Baker, go be Baker. And he's like, all right, I'll go be I'm a gunslinger. I can be inaccurate for 3 quarters. I can miss players. I can throw should-be interceptions for 3 quarters. But when they need me, I'm a click. Don't worry. And it's a huge divisional game. These are clearly the two best teams in the division after watching the Panthers stink it up and the Saints stink it up. But Baker comes out there, throws for 3 touchdowns. Emeka Egbuka, I tried to trade for him in fantasy before the game. Wish I pulled that off. Because he goes for 6-7 yards, 2 touchdowns. And he looked so good. My guy, Bucky Irving, kind of got stuffed this game, which is more of a testament to Atlanta's defense than him. And then for Atlanta, Bijan had a really, really nice game through the air. Like, he had a really, really good 50-yard touchdown. First touchdown of the NFL Sunday games was a 50-yard Bijan screen for a touchdown. But he could not get anything on the ground. Neither could Tyler Algier. And you know why? Because of number 50. Because of Vita Vea. Every time. Why do the Bucks have the best run defense in the league? Vita Vea. Why does no NFC team ever want to play the Bucks? Vita Vea. Why are the Buccaneers the perfect counter for the Eagles every year? Vita Vea. I don't know if you remember. Week 3 last year, the Buccaneers put belt to the Eagles. Just because they're a horrendous matchup for them. Because, they can just defend the run so well. It's like, oh, it's so cute. You have such a good interior offensive line. Yeah, but Vita Vea eats them all. I don't care how good they are. Kyle Pitts, 7 for 59. Rare good Kyle Pitts game. I had to play with Kyle Pitts in fantasy. It was really annoying seeing him do things. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say in this game other than that fourth quarter was so fun to watch. I'm sorry. I love to give good analysis, and I'll give more good analysis in the future, once I can start delving into film and stuff when the film for these games release. But sometimes I'm just going to be a fan. I'm going to love watching good quarterbacks play because Penix looked good. Penix might actually be the real deal. I wasn't too sure on Penix, but he might be the guy. Seeing some of the throws he was making, some of the runs he was making, him and Justin Fields were 2 quarterbacks where it's like, even though they lost, they got a big moral victory, and not in the sarcastic way, in that it's good to see these guys be here. All right, so moving off the Bucs game, we have the Bengals and the Browns, 17-16. This was a game that the Bengals should have lost. The Bengals did their week 1 thing. They did the goofy thing where they just try and throw the game into week 1 to a garbage opponent. But the Browns were like, no, you take it. And the Bengals were like, no, you take it. And the Browns were like, no, you take it. And then Bengals were like, okay, sure. If you insist, I'll take the game. Burrow does literally nothing, goes for 113 yards and 1 touchdown. Not like he had much of a choice. Myles Garrett was in his backfield all day. He was in his walls the entire time. Not much anyone could have done about that. Chase Brown couldn't run. Their whole offense just did not want to move the ball. I think their last 5 possessions were punt, and punt. The Browns, Joe Flacco, Unc has still kind of got it. All right, am I crazy for saying that? Unc is still sorry. That was really gross. Unc still kind of got it. He was doing his thing, and those 2 interceptions were stupid tipped up balls. One of them, yes, was kind of on him because the ball was a little inaccurate. Or not a little inaccurate, very inaccurate. And the guy tried to dive for it and make a tip play, whatever. But the second one was just God hates the Browns. That's the only explanation. The second one was Deshaun Watson reminded God of what he did. So he's like, oh, yeah, I got to tip up that ball and let it be a pick. Sorry, man. And I felt so bad for the Browns. They're poor fans. They actually showed up and showed out. I don't know why they did. Bless their hearts, they did. And, you could actually hear the Browns through the broadcast. They're roaring. And just to see that 2 tip-up interceptions, I felt so bad. Their kicker misses a field goal at a PAT. My God, must be weird to have a kicker who misses 2 field goals or 2 kicks. Wonder if we got a guy like that. Anyways, yeah, just Browns are cursed. That's a big takeaway of the game. There's not much else to say. Myles Garrett's really good. We already knew that. Harold Fannin Jr., a big draft crush of mine. If you watch the 49ers Rush podcast, John Chapman, great show. It's the whole reason I'm doing this because I love that show so much. Harold Fannin was one of the big draft crushes. I looked into Harold Fannin and I'm like, yo, this guy's absurdly good, which is tragic because I got auto-drafted David Njoku. But Harold Fannin ends up being like the primary target for them outside of Jerry Jeudy. And he is eating. He's so good. He catches the ball out in space. He can run. He can take a hit. He can do everything. And it's like, what a shocker. The guy who was so dominant in college and somehow made the NFL out of Bowling Green is probably really good at football. And yeah, it turns out he is good at football. Dylan Sampson did solid in the receiving game. Could not run the ball to save his life. Jerome Ford. I saw Jerome Ford had 17 expected points on fantasy for PPR. And I laughed at it. And I'm like, no shot. Yet, he didn't do anything. ESPN was a little off the rocker on that one. But Jerome Ford goes 6 carries for 8 yards. He is not a starting running back in the NFL. I'm sorry, he's just not. The Browns need Quinshon Judkins. I think that's how you say his name. Quinshon? They need Judkins back so badly. They need him so bad. If they want any chance in the next 16 games, they need Judkins back in a hurry because they made the Bengals run defense look good, which is hard to do. The Browns receivers also got to learn how to catch the ball. Browns got to just learn how to not be cursed until they get a priest. Browns need a priest. That's the number one takeaway of the Browns for that game. Need a priest. Bengals, you are so lucky. You are so unbelievably lucky that you won this game. My goodness, you couldn't throw the ball to Jamar Chase. You couldn't play defense until Joe Flacco's magical balls got tipped it up. Until Joe Flacco had passes tipped up in the air, you could not do a single thing. Yeah. There's not much to say. Bengals are so lucky, and if they pull this bull crap again, they were going to lose by 40. So, especially because they have the Jaguars next, and I don't even think the Jaguars are that good. But if they play the same game like they did here against the Jaguars, they're going to make Trevor Lawrence look like he's a Clemson god again. So, don't do that. All right, last game I want to get to. I would talk about the Chiefs-Chargers game, but I feel like that instant reaction I did kind of covered all of the things I wanted to say. And it's mostly just the same with the Ravens and the Bills, where it's like, oh my God, both the quarterbacks are really, really good. And it's super fun to watch them both be really good. Because outside of that, I don't have much else to say. Like, Khalil Mack is really good. The Chiefs' offensive tackles look kind of rough for Josh Simmons to be so hyped up as, like, an extremely pro-ready offensive tackle. He did not look pro-ready. He looked like he was a scared little boy at times. Outside of that, I didn't know what else to say. Like, Justin Herbert, really good. Beat the social media quarterback allegations, I guess. I can't believe I have to say these real things. I thought we were done with that shit like 3 years ago, but apparently not. Other than that, like, Keenan Allen was fun. It's cool seeing Unk go get the ball, go get 20 fantasy points for some reason. Lad McConkey is really good. I don't know. Like, the Chiefs-Chargers game is just a game, as a fan, you just sit there, you watch, and you enjoy it. And I don't know if there's much else to say, Oh, big thing. I talked about in the instant reaction. 3rd and 14. The whole time, if you had watched the episode prior to that, if you watched the Thursday show, if you did, thank you. I was talking about how inevitably the Chiefs are going to put Chris Jones on Trey Pipkins, the backup right tackle for the Chargers, their swing tackle, and he is going to mess up the game. That's why I picked the Chiefs to win. Turns out, 3rd down, got to have it. Chiefs will get the ball back, which means Patrick Mahomes will inevitably score and pull devil magic. And Chris Jones just royally messes up. He tries to go super aggressive for the sack, and Justin Herbert just rolls out and says, I'm good. No, you got that. And just runs right past him. 3rd and 14, picks up 20 yards. Runs so iconic, I have to make a Madison beer out of all things. Yeah. Okay. We got distracted there. Last thing I want to talk about. Tua turned the ball over. Never seen a nickname so accurate. Colts win in Indy 33-8. Before I get into it, Jim Irsay, honorary night. I don't know what exactly they call it, but memory night, I guess. Sure, something like that. Jim Irsay, he had his big commemorative night. That's the word I'm looking for. It was, it was a nice scene. It was emotional in Indy. A lot of respect there for every member involved. And you could tell the Colts wanted this game. They really did. Rich Eisen pointed out before, and I'm like, I like that. I'm gonna go with the Colts. I did a little pregame prediction thing, and I picked the Colts to win. And apparently, they were Vegas favorites. Everyone was really confused. A lot of really good tweets on Freezing Cold Takes about this game. But Daniel Jones looked good. And I don't know, maybe this is just a renaissance of all quarterbacks now looking good outside of the really bad ones. But, man, I was watching so many of the week 1 games, and it's like, quarterbacks are good now. There's not such a clear gap between, good quarterback and bad quarterback. You have ungodly super elite quarterbacks, and you have good quarterbacks, and a few sort of trash ones. But Daniel Jones looked really good. And maybe it's just the Colts offense has so much talent. They have a good play caller. Shane Steichen's good. And finally, they have someone who could, not be inept and not actually have a functioning brain. So that helps. But Daniel Jones looks really good in this one. Goes for 272 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. The run game was working really solidly with Jonathan Taylor. I know it's 18 for 71 yards. 4 yards a carry is good. You're moving the ball. All that matters. You're not getting stuck. Michael Pittman, 6 receptions, 80 yards, and 1 touchdown. On my fantasy bench. Started David Njoku over him in flex. Don't know what I was thinking. But Michael Pittman goes 6 for 80 yards and touchdown. Tyler Warren, rookie debut, looks every bit the part. 7 catches, 80 yards. Warren looks so good this game. He looks so good. He was completely unguardable. Miami had no idea what to do with him. No idea what to do with Daniel Jones either, which, what does that say about that? Besides the point. And I feel like for the Colts, I want to enjoy talking about the good stuff with them. But there's such a glaring, obvious thing I need to talk about, which is how trash the Dolphins are. My God. What was that? Go realistically, I don't care about it. The score was 8-3. It was 0-33. Actually, it was 0-30, but then the Colts were just mean and kicked an extra field goal for fun. It was 0-30. They got shut out for anything that intensively mattered. Tua has 2 just awful interceptions. First one was like a classic Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm going to sail the ball 30 yards over his head because why not? And it's like, bro, what are we doing? That was the first sort of dumb thing. Besides the point. Tua completely sails an interception over a guy's head. And then, he does it again because why not? And then he has a really dumb fumble that looked super dumb. And I'm sorry, I'm not a Tua guy. I love Tua in college. I was a Tua guy in college. I loved watching him on Alabama, and then he broke his hip, and then he's just never been the same. And if you're Mike McDaniel, your whole thing is like you're an offensive genius. You have Tyreek Hill, you have Jalen Waddle, you have offensive weapons. You trade away Jonnu Smith, but it was supposed to just be Jonnu Smith. You can get another tight end. Turns out, your plan of Darren Waller wasn't a good one. Wonder who could have told you that. Entire NFL. They ran the ball 7 times for 55 yards. Maybe should have run the ball a little more. You have Devon Achane. Probably a good idea to run with him. You have Ollie Gordon. Probably a good idea to run. Don't just make Tua do everything and mess up. Tyreek goes 4 for 40 and will be traded at some point. I'm going to do this as a little side tangent. I think there are 3 teams Tyreek Hill can get traded to. So, tragically, the Bills does not work because I don't think the Dolphins want to trade him in division. What I am truly scared about, and what everyone in the world is scared about, is that the Chiefs have wide receiver injuries. Xavier Worthy's out for a good bit. Rashee Rice is suspended for a good bit. So what are you going to do? You're going to lose 6 games? No. You're just going to go trade for your old guy, Tyreek Hill, back. And guess what? He's going to go back to 1,700 yards and go do his thing. But hopefully that doesn't happen. But I think realistically, Tyreek Hill is probably a Chief. I would put 60% chance. He's going to force some big stink by at least week 4 and get traded. Because there is no recovering from this if you're Miami. I know it's week 1. But to lose by 25 points to Daniel Jones, more realistically 30 points to Daniel Jones, Jalen Waddle couldn't do anything. It's I don't know. If your whole thing is Mike McDaniel, is you have this extremely good team with speed that you can have Tua put the ball in their hands extremely accurately. They can run and they can go get touchdowns. That's what they did. That's how they put up 70 points in a freaking game. And it's like, oh, no, we're going to be more physical this year. That's what it is. We're going to get guys on defense who are more physical. We're going to get some linemen, except those linemen all suck. So we're actually just going to get Tua killed back there over and over again. And I don't understand the plan with the Dolphins. Where do the Dolphins want to be in 1 year? Where do they want to be in 2 years? I know Mike McDaniel isn't a part of it anymore. Is Tua a part of it? Is Jalen Waddle a part of it? Is Devon Achane a part of it? I don't know. What is their plan? They are a very unique team in that I truly cannot understand any vision for them as they are currently constructed. The plan I see for the Miami Dolphins is in 5 years to look completely different and have a whole new roster. You know what? They'll keep Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips is really good. And they'll keep maybe Bradley Chubb if he stays healthy. They have no game plan. And if you're a Miami fan, that's just gotta suck. I don't know. I'm so sorry for Miami fans. They thought they had like an offensive genius in Mike McDaniel. Turns out he's just a solid offensive coordinator. Not much more than that. And I don't know. Again, I feel like I've been trashing on the Dolphins too much and not been giving enough credit to the Colts because they played such a good game and the Colts proved. I saw like Nick Wright say that they were going to go like 5-12 or be one of the worst teams in the league, which is crazy because they have so much talent and they proved it. And the Colts are going to be an annoying ass team for everyone this year, like they always are. And the Dolphins, man, they're squish the fish is in true order. They are placing last in this division because at least the Patriots are somewhat competent. You know, they're not good. They're not like, a 10-win team like for some reason like people were thinking because they got their butt kicked by the Raiders at home. But, at least they're not Miami. AFC East, man, it's Buffalo. It's always just going to be Buffalo every year. Okay, we have been going for 57 minutes. And if you have stuck with me through 57 minutes, I tried to make this a little more entertaining. But if you have, thank you, sincerely, from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it. Please put me at like 1.5 speed or something. I feel really bad if you did spend that much time. But if you enjoyed it, thank you. Maybe leave a like. Maybe hit a subscribe. And realistically, if you probably watched this long, you know me. So if you actually did, again, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm going to clip this a bunch, make it shorter so people can watch, so people can enjoy it. If you've been stuck this long, shout out to the new Bucky. I got a Bucky's hat. Went to Missouri, of all places, for a little family trip, and we visited a Bucky's. So I have a Bucky's hat now. Love to see it. I've got a little off track. So the next time you guys are going to see me, I will be in college, which is where, I have a lot of friends from college who are probably listening to this. So again, to them, thank you. But, I'll be in college. I'll either be filming in my dorm or I'll be filming in like a podcast studio because I'm a journalism major. I don't know. We'll see. If we have to film in the dorm, more than happy to. Love the dorm. It's going to be a big transition, a big change, and I'm happy I'm bringing this with me. So, again, I wanted to thank you all for listening, if you have. And we will be back soon once I moved into college. Maybe a little bit of a pause. We'll see. But I'm hoping to be back at some point midweek for another episode. And yeah, thank you so much. Everyone listening, I hope you have a phenomenal day. A great NFL Sunday it was for all of us. And I hope to have more like in the future. All right. Thank you.